What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and we are here today to talk about episode 5 and 6 of Sistas because it was so crazy last week and this week of that. We're gonna combine the two. All right, so let's just get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So episode 5 starts with the suspected human trafficker guy barging into Danny's apartment. First of all, Danny, why the hell you ain't look out the peephole before you just open the door for somebody? You are a single female living by yourself. And also, don't none of these apartments, the bottom lock. Like, why couldn't El Fuego lock the bottom lock as he was rolling the heck out of your apartment? Like, I don't understand the foo la la. So anyway, he comes and barges up in there, and he got his hand on the gun. She got her hand on the knife. Child, she talking about she from Detroit and all this. Anyway, we come to find out he the daggone, he's a police officer. Okay, he's not the bad news bear. Okay, and she ends up realizing, okay, maybe he is who he says that he is. So he's coming in there pretty much telling her that's exactly why they didn't attack him when she threw her daggone stiletto in his her stiletto pumps in the airport at the back of his head. Okay, so she's like, okay, well, if you're legit, whatever, do your thing, but don't be coming up in my house no more. Don't be barging up in here. So obviously she's still scared. He leaves and he tells her he's happy that he has somebody on his team like her at the airport to help out. And then he start flirting and trying to go on dates with her and all this. And I'm like, whatever, y'all are weird. So he leaves out the apartment. Child, the most unrealistic bullshit I ever seen. But whatever. You, Tyler, go on with your bad self. So he leaves out. She ends up calling Sabrina to talk to Sabrina on the phone about the whole situation. And she's like, what the heck just happened? Like, the human trafficker guy, he actually just came to my apartment or whatever. Like, what the heck? And so Sabrina is like, I'm sorry. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Andy calls Sabrina first. Okay, so that whole scene with Danny happens. Andy calls Sabrina and tells her to have Danny and herself come to her house because Karen wants to talk to them about something. So then Maurice comes in and he's upset with Sabrina because of the date that she set him up on with the guy that's just like him. Like, they both like the same thing. So he was like, why the hell would you set me up? So he was pissed. So then Danny ends up calling Sabrina at this time to tell her about what happened with the airport cop and how she almost killed him. And then Sabrina tells her to come to Andy's house because Karen needs to tell them something. And Danny says, hell no, she won't go. She isn't coming because Karen pissed her off because when Karen had her coming up to the daggone hair salon, being all messy, having her in the midst of all that stuff with that new chick, which at the end of the day, Danny, you went up there because you wanted to. You didn't have to go up there. If you didn't care about him, you didn't need to go. Okay? So, whatever. So then this episode was really dry. So I don't really have a whole lot of notes for that. Episode 6 is where it really came back to life. Okay. But anyway, in the next scene, Karen walks into her shop and the random lady that keeps on coming by asking about Zach apparently is there again. And she asks if she can give her something for Zach and if Karen can give Zach something for her. And Karen says no. And Pam says, if you ain't the police, you need to get out of here. And she says she isn't the police. And then Karen tells her to get out and don't come back in there again. And Pam says, I'm going to write down her license plate and find out who she is. Then she asks Karen if she wants something to eat. And she says she wants to go buy. Then Karen talks about going and buying a house or whatever. And how she's going to use the money that Zach gave her, I guess, for good or whatever. And she says she needs to get her taxes done first. So that was kind of where that episode kind of ended. So, no, then Aaron comes in. I'm sorry. So then her and Aaron, Karen and Aaron are talking, and she's like, I have something that's, Aaron is rubbing her on her feet and just trying to console her or whatever, because he can see that she's obviously upset over something. So then it all woe is me moments happen. They get along to be along, and everything rolls through, wasting time. And she finally says, I'm pregnant. So then the episode ends or whatever. So then getting into episode 6, Aaron is rubbing Karen's feet. And this is when she tells him she's pregnant. And she gets mad that he ain't blowing up on her, because he's basically being supportive, saying, okay, you're pregnant. All right, we'll do what we have to do. I'm going to be here for you or whatever. Then she says, well, it's not yours. Mind you, homegirl ain't been to not one doctor's appointment. Ain't nobody put her feet in no stirrups to check on nothing. Ain't nobody put the greasy gel on her belly to even see if there's anything up in there. Like, for all she know, that could have been a fibroid or whatever. Like, I pray to God it ain't a fibroid. But you don't know what the hell that is. You ain't been to the doctor or nothing. You got a clear blue easy, and that's all you think is right. Is it a paternity test on the pregnancy test? I just want to know. So Aaron is like, okay, so are you sure that it's not mine? Because you haven't been to the doctor. Or is it that you just want it to be? Because she tells him it's Zach's. So he's like, do you just want it to be Zach's or what? Because it's pretty much too close to tell for you to really know who's the baby daddy. And she's like, oh my gosh, I just want my space. Like, I'm just saying things to piss you off, basically, and you're still not catching the hint. I'm like, Karen, if you all of y'all sisters, y'all are playing mind games with these men. Here's my thing. You did all of that to piss Zach off and to shoo Zach away. All right. You call him everything but a child of God, called him broke. You had him. The man got stabbed up for you, and you still didn't want him. You was pursuing Aaron. And mind you, this man's wife came in there and shot herself in your shop. But you threw Zach away for him. Okay. You heavily put Zach down for this guy. But now you want to push him away to be with Zach because he moved on. Are you crazy? You know what? That's not even a question. Are you stupid? That's what I want to know. Because clearly you're crazy. Because a sane person wouldn't even think like this. Okay? It's very unreal how Karen is. Like, Karen, number one, you want Aaron to go off on you. Like, you love arguing. You love drama. Okay. And that just seems to be like a running trend with these women. Like, they love drama and stupidity, which is like not realistic. Like, women are not like this at all in any realm of the world. Okay. So I don't know what woman Tyler Perry is writing about, but these women are not traditional women in society. Okay. Like, Karen, you got a good dude. You let him pursue you. You was loving on him and all this, that, and the third. You got rid of Zach. Be with Aaron and stop playing around, because you're wasting everybody's time. The viewers, your friends, Zach and Fatima and Aaron. You're wasting all of our time, and we are over you. Okay? Completely over you with a capital O-V. Over it with Karen and the whole Zach and Aaron trio. It's ridiculous. Zach does not want you. You wanted him to tell you in 50 different languages before you believed it. And obviously you still don't believe it. And you telling Aaron, well, we have 3 years of history. Well, bitch, who gives a damn? Because clearly Zach don't. It's like you think that this baby is going to force him to have to be with you. You still don't treat him right now, talking trash to the man every second that you get. I don't get it. But anyway, moving right along. Aaron said, she tells Aaron she needs space, child. She's saying things to push him away because she's still in love with Zach, whatever. He says he isn't going to go away that easily. He loves her. He will love the baby and her too, no matter whose it is. All right, Aaron. So basically you dumb. All right, whatever. Whatever, my dude. Don't even waste your time with this chick. Like, she's crazy, deranged, and nobody got time for that. So anyway, moving right along, Pam is talking to Cowboy Preston outside and asking about him dating Danny or whatever. And when Karen comes out, he tells her he did actually want her to call Danny up to the shop, but she didn't call her up there, and he's kind of sad that she didn't. I'm like, what kind of games are y'all playing? Like, did you want her to come up here and cause a scene? But he basically was like, he wanted her to come up there because he wants her to see that he can actually get another woman. But here's my thing, Preston. You're not an ugly guy. Clearly, she knows that you can get another woman. And yes, her seeing you with this other chick could possibly make her jealous. But so what? What were you going to do when she got there? Were you going to get rid of the other chick? Did you want them to be brawling in the middle of the floor for her to show that she's interested in you? Like, I don't understand what you thought was supposed to come out of this. And that was just not realistic and didn't make any sense. So Karen was like, listen, so-and-so, whatever the chick's, Tanya is my client. You cannot be playing with her like this and using her as a pawn in your little game. If you want to be with Danny, you need to talk to her about it. Y'all need to move on and do what y'all gonna do, but you need to leave Tanya out of it because clearly she really likes you. So he's like, but I don't know how to figure Danny out. Like, I can't. And she's like, well, you need to figure that out on your own. You need to talk to her and figure it out. So I don't know what type of games Preston is on, but this ain't it. That ain't it. So in the next scene, Fatima and Andy are in the office and she admires Andy's bag that Gary bought her. And she shows Andy the car. Andy shows Fatima the car and the other things that Gary bought her. First of all, Andy, you're very materialistic because this man has squeezed you to the white meat. Okay, your ribs was about to burst and some more stuff. But you impressed because he bought you a car and bought you some bags and some clothes. Buddy almost tried to kill you. And his wife had a gun. His ex-wife, currently, I don't know what's going on, tried to kill you and actually shot him. Girl, if you don't move on, you got a whole man with a jet and a whole business. You don't need Gary. I feel like Tyler Perry trying to hold on to Gary's character so bad. Like, let it go like Elsa. Like, it's a bunch of characters like Calvin, Gary, need to go off of this show. Like, seriously. Okay? But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So then they talk about Karen calling Zach's phone. So Fatima admires it, and then she says, Fatima says, I'm gonna call a friend so we can sell all this. Like, you need to get rid of all this shit from Gary and move the F on. Okay? So then Andy says, really, you know somebody that'll do that? And then they go into both of them switching phones, Zach and Fatima switching phones. And Andy was like, wow, Zach gave you, she was surprised because Fatima was like, Zach gave her his password. She was like, wow, Zachariah, like Zach gave you his password. This is the same man that I know always had his phone in his pocket, like watching that phone like a hawk. Zachariah gave you his password? Oh, girl, something must be going on between your thighs that ain't telling no lies, okay? So she was like, yeah, and I told him, I gave him a fake password, girl. I ain't giving my password. So Andy is seeing the forest for the trees. She's like, yeah, Karen better go on and move on because this right here is over, okay? She ain't got no luck of the draw to be back with Zach, okay? So then she says, he doesn't know, he don't need to know everything about her. Basically, Fatima was saying that. So in the next scene, Gary and Jake come to Zach's place to discuss his account. So they're basically trying to help him. Gary's introducing those two, and then they, are bonding over different things or whatever. Jake tells Zach that he should keep the stock. He's saying that it's going up, but he should take 25% of it out for himself. And he also tells him that he needs to get his money out of Sabrina's bank or whatever. He needs to put it in with a brokering bank or something like that. And so basically he's like, Zach's like, so you just want me to put my money in your bank. He's like, listen, you ain't got to go with our bank, but you need to put it somewhere other than that bank, okay? So they are bonding, moving right along. They end up putting up pictures together and whatnot. Zach makes a joke about him being a half-breed and all this, that, and the third. And that's probably why he's so nice. So moving right along, Fuego is in the airport and he approaches Danny at the airport and tries to talk to her. She's dismissive of him once again, which Danny is very confusing to me. Like, she's that female that has this whole list of things that she wants out of a man, but you can't really offer a man shit your damn self. And you want this, but then you don't want it. Like, you don't know what the hell you want. You can't even tell a man what you want out of him. And that's what I don't get with women. Like, it's a lot of women out here that's looking for a man child, act like they starving for a man, but you don't even know what you want. You wouldn't know if it was a good man that slapped you upside the bun on top of your damn head, child. I just don't understand these single ladies, okay? Know what you want and mean what you want and stop playing with these men. Clearly, Danny wants the cowboy, but you playing with Fuego. Like, why are you even okay? If it's a rump session, just let him know that it's a rump session and that's it. So he don't come pursuing you, because that's how these men end up being crazy. They coming after you thinking you want one thing and it's not. It's thinking it's one thing and it's something else. So she done shunned him off. He's like, this is the same way you treated me in college. And she's like, well, you should be used to it by now. I'm like, okay, now if he had did that shit to you, if you was interested in him, then it would be a whole problem, right? So then the human trafficker police / officer guy comes up and he's like, wow, so she turns everybody down. And Fuego's like, yeah, pretty much. And so then the trafficker guy tries to shoot his shot or whatever. And I think this was Tyler Perry's failed attempt to try to say that maybe if a man would get to know Danny, then they would be her knight in shining armor. So he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take my time and get to know you, because maybe if I get to know you and know what makes you tick or all whatever, talking a whole bunch of nonsense, then maybe I'll get a date. And I'm like, how you gonna get to know her if she ain't even want to tell you her first name the first time y'all met? I don't understand. If a woman ain't giving, how you gonna take it? You can't take information from somebody that ain't giving it. And clearly Danny don't even know what to give. She don't know what she wants. Hell, she don't even know if she coming or going. So I'm about sick of Danny. Okay. So anyway, she sits down. The human trafficker guy ends up walking away because she done, turn him down for the 11th time. So then she calls. She hold on. The trafficker guy comes, says, shoots him down. He says, maybe if I understand you, blah, 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 blah. Okay, anyway. So Preston calls her, okay? Preston calls Danny and he says, he wants to talk to her. And she says, what do you want to talk about? Like, what is there left for us to talk about? I thought we talked about everything last time. And he's like, well, Karen didn't call you like I wanted her to. I'm actually at her salon and she didn't call you, but I wanted her to call you because I wanted you to come up here because I wanted you to see that I can get somebody else. Like, he was telling her the reason why he wanted her to come up to the shop, and that he doesn't really think that she respects him, basically. So she agrees to meet with him and he's going to come over her house, and she tells him that she has a date. Well, she ain't got no damn date, but anyway, she says he can come over. Then Danny ends up calling Karen after she talks to Preston and says, well, Preston told me that he wanted me to come up to the salon, but you didn't call me to come up there. Thank you for not involving me in no more drama. Which, girl, you would have brought your ass right on up there, okay? And she was like, yeah, because ever since you called me the last time, it put me in a really bad mood. Oh, cry me a river, dick face. No, it didn't. Because you was about to have your little airport shoes. You was going to be on the next jet smoking right on up to the daggone salon again to be all up in the BI and do nothing about it. So anyway, in the next scene, Karen calls Andy and tells her to invite Fatima to her house that night with the girls because she has to talk to them about something that also concerns her. Which I cannot wait to see the egg on Karen's face when Fatima, mind you, if I was Fatima, I would walk in there with a breast pump or some shit, some diapers. I'd be like, oh, so you wanted me to come here. I got you a nice little gift. And when Karen opens up and sees it as some baby gift and looks at her like, so you already know? Oh yeah, because you're gonna need that because you have us all here to tell us that you're pregnant, right? Yeah, I already know. So did you tell your friends? That's exactly what I would do if I was her. Because look here, little bitch, what you not about to do is trying to embarrass me. Okay? Because you are the one that looks dumb. You don't even know who your baby's daddy is. Let's talk about that. Hello? Get your feet in some stirrups and know what the heck is going on with your body. Because you clearly don't know. You know nothing about nothing. Okay? So I cannot wait until that scene happens because you think you're slick. You think you're trying to come up in here and trying to have her looking stupid, but that is not going to be the case whatsoever. Okay. So anyway, Karen is, hounding Andy to get Fatima there, and Andy is like, "I'm not telling Fatima to come to my house. This is just, what do you want to tell her? Like, what's going on?" So they have a pointless scene of them going back and forth about her making sure that she gonna bring her, but whatever. So anyway, Andy then calls Sabrina and Danny and tells them that they have to come tonight because it's about to get good. Karen even want daggone Fatima to come, so it's got to be something serious. So now Danny is like, "I wasn't gonna come before, but child, now I'm gonna come because the tea must come. My cup runneth over. Okay, I got to see this." My husband in the background, y'all. So anyway, Andy asked Fatima to save an hour for her later that night because she wants her to come back possibly. So Fatima is like, "Whatever you need, I'll be there." So then they have this pointless scene with Calvin and Maurice because I guess they wanted to make sure Calvin and Maurice was seen in the damn episode somehow. I don't know, but whatever. It was a pointless scene of him acting, Calvin not knowing if Sabrina told Maurice about the situation with the guy at the restaurant, which he didn't tell him. Calvin ends up telling him. Maurice makes fun of him about getting knocked out by Jacoby and whatever. That was a pointless scene. So anyway, Danny and Preston have a talk, and he tells her that he really cares about her more than that girl he is dating. And he even tells her he loves her. And she says maybe he shouldn't try with her anymore. And he says he thought she might care about him. And she says, he says basically, "I didn't think you cared about me or whatever, and so I was dating this girl because I wanted you to see that I can get somebody else, and I just wanted to kind of get some type of emotion out of you basically." And she was like, "I never said that I didn't care about you or whatever." And so Preston is basically like, "Just teach me," he having a Music Soul Child moment. "Teach me how to love, teach me how to the way to fulfill your heart, girl. Like, help me, help me, help me. I want to be with you, okay? Let me in to the lock give me the key that unlocks your heart, child." And she's like, "I'm a Black woman with the weight of the world on my shoulders already, and you want me to teach you how to love me? Bitch, shut the hell up, Danny. The only weight that you got on your shoulder is that vape pen, okay? You ain't holding the weight of nothing on nothing. You're not contributing anything to the world to be holding it on your shoulders, ma'am. Tell the man how to love you or not. Don't waste this time because you clearly wasting mine. You don't even. Here's my thing. I don't think Danny can tell this man how to love her because she don't know how to be loved. That's what the whole issue is. You don't know how to love him either. You're not out there on the rodeo trying to get to know the stuff that he's doing. And that's the problem with females. Y'all think that men are supposed to wine and dine and get to know you and do all this shit to make you happy. What about what makes them happy? They have to be happy making you happy, right? So why are you not trying to get to know the things that he does? Why are you not trying to find out what his interests are if you really care about him? Why is it all about him getting to know you and doing everything that you want him to do? You have to be the center of everything. That doesn't make any sense. And the biggest piece of it all is you don't know what the fuck you want. You don't. One minute you telling him don't call you. Then when he don't call you, you like, he ain't called me in 3 days. Well, bitch, you told him not to call you. Are you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Is there some type of brain drainage in that vape pen that you smoking? I don't understand. Then you tell him don't show up at your house, right? Okay, he stopped showing up at your house. Then you mad that he don't show up at your house. What? You're crazy and deranged, okay? I can't. I can't. And then she says, when are you going to grow up? That's what she says to him. No, bitch, when are you going to grow up? Because you the childish one in this whole situation to me. I'm over Danny's character. So she says, you went on your date. So then he's getting ready to leave, and then they're leaving or whatever. And she says, because she's basically trying to usher him out of her apartment at this point, because he's sitting here confused, like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. She was like, I tried to tell you how to love me, but you didn't listen. First of all, Danny, I get it. When you were telling him to stop showing up at your house and all this stuff, that wasn't telling him how to love you. Okay? Did you talk about how he paid your rent for 3 months? Did you talk about that? How when he was coming over and cooking and making steak dinners for you, rubbing your feet, giving you the D whenever you wanted it? How about that? Did you talk about those things that he did that you liked? No, you didn't. You didn't big up those things. You don't tell him any other thing. You don't tell him nothing about yourself. Now, granted, he is asking technically. I don't know. I'm so confused by this whole situation. I won't get over it. So anyway, she tried to usher him up out her daggone apartment, child. And she's like, yeah, because I'm going on my date or whatever. And he's like, so you still gonna do that? And she was like, you went on a date, didn't you? Okay, so now we petty. Now you petty boots and you want to go back and forth. Danny, go back to the daycare that you came from, because you are childish. I don't got time. So moving right along. Fatima goes to Zach's house, okay? And she meets Jake, Gary's co-worker, okay? And so in the midst of all of their conversations, she finds out that the Gary that they're talking about is actually Andy's Gary, okay? So then Jake ends up leaving, and Fatima fills Zach in on who exactly Gary is. So now they're all on the same page, and apparently Zach then invited Jake to play basketball, whatever the case may be. So I don't know what's going to end up happening with that whole situation. So anyway, in the next scene, Andy calls Karen and they go back and forth again about Andy inviting Fatima. Okay. And then they discuss Gary's wife suing them for alienation of affection. And Andy is getting it thrown out of court, which I'm like, this broad tried to kill people. How is she able to sue somebody for money? I don't understand. And she was cheating. What is going on? That was a whole piece of scene that didn't need to happen too. Tyler, you're just writing a whole bunch of foolishness now. Get a writer. Because this don't make no sense. Danny dumb and don't know what she want. Sabrina dating Panty Man. And Andy materialistic. And Karen don't know if she coming to go and pregnant or not. She want to force people to be with her that don't want to be with her. And they got to tell her they don't want her in French, Italian, Spanish, and Hebrew. I don't understand. It's getting dumb. But anyway, Andy goes to her apartment, and Gary calls as she's standing outside of her apartment, which ironically looks just like the hotel that Zach was going into when Fatima came. It just looks weird. That's like they're using the same door for a whole bunch of different scenes. But anyway, anywho, she's talking to Gary, and Gary's like, I want to come see you. Can I come see you? She's like, no, Gary, but thank you for the car and all these things. And yeah, I did it was sweet that you did all those things, but you had people following me. Did you do that? They just had a whole pointless scene of them going back and forth about her acting like she didn't want him following her, but she really did like it. And he knows that she does. She likes all this crazy shit. Okay. So anyway, she ends up getting off the phone with him. But before she gets off the phone, he's like, you really want to talk to me? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Because he knew that he done moved all her stuff out of her apartment and he bought the penthouse upstairs for her. Which I'm just like, Tyler, this ain't real. I get it. It's scripted TV. And listen, I would love everybody to be with somebody rich too. Hell, it's great. But this ain't realistic. People don't do these things in real life. This girl lives in a top tier apartment building. There is no way that anybody is going to authorize you to get in her apartment, especially with all the shit that done happened with you. Okay? You got to be on somebody's do not enter list at this point to even get into the apartment, let alone have your name on some shit to have her stuff moved out into a penthouse. It's not making any logical sense. Okay. Nobody's going to literally have all her stuff, let you into her apartment without her consent to move all her shit up to a penthouse. It don't make no sense. Okay. It doesn't. The whole situation with Karen doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so Karen, I mean, I guess in the next episode, we're going to see Karen sitting there with the ladies, and I hope they don't take all episode for her to finally come out and tell them that she pregnant or think she pregnant. And I hope somebody brings up the fact that she ain't been to nobody's doctor's appointment yet. She don't know nothing. And from what I've seen in the last couple of episodes, she done effed Aaron like 2 or 3 times. And I know she ain't used no rubber, but when she effed Zach, when she was hunching him in the office, first of all, they didn't even finish. Okay, they got caught by Aaron in the midst of their rump session, and they wasn't even in there that long. So unless he got some super pre-cum, I don't understand how you are definitely 100%, 1,000% sure that this is Zach's baby. I really hope that Tyler don't do this messy stuff where this is Zach's baby, and now Karen trying to live in that house that's next to him. My brain hurt because this is so dumb. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watches this season as well. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.